beautiful and sunny morning to you from the city of Abuja, and welcome to the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. This is another exciting edition of Now Streaming, your morning talk show where we address burning issues, celebrate good news, and discuss topics that have the potential to change our lives. I am your host, Rachel Ibunu, and I have with me in the studio this morning the Venerable Joseph Unaya JP. He is Director for Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, and also the Chaplain to the National Assembly. We have with us also in the studio Comrade Isaac John. He is the National Youth Leader, SOCAPU. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, our viewers.
Morning. We'll be discussing the trending news for this Wednesday morning, the 10th of November, 2021. Viewers, do remember to call in to give your contributions through the numbers showing on your screen, and also your comments through our various social media handles showing on your screen. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. We'll start our first story from here. Senate passes Electoral Act Amendment Bill, approves electronic transmission of results and direct primaries for parties. This has been in the pipeline for quite a while now. Let me take it from here. It says the approval was given on Tuesday when the lawmakers resumed plenary after a 3-week recess. The upper chamber has constituted a 7-man conference committee to meet with members of the House of Representatives Conference Committee to harmonize the differences in the Senate and House version of Electoral Act Amendment Bill. With the successful harmonization, it means the National Assembly has completed the process of amending the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The House of Representatives is also expected to pass the harmonized bill. I'll start with you, sir. Your take on it.
No, I woke up very happy this morning
Okay.
with this very piece of news because I've said it over and over again that since 2011, Anglican Communion, that is CONAC, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, as a domestic election observation group, has been advocating the need for us to use technology to improve our electoral system. And I thank God that this has finally happened. This one will pave the way for electronic voting. Because once transmission starts, we can now do transmission electronically. It means very soon the electoral process can be done, electronically, voting electronically, and that again will pave the way for diaspora voting very soon.
And right from the polling unit, you could just know whoever
Seamless.
it is that is in it. Comrade?
Well, to me, it's a victory for the people and a victory for democracy. I always argue that democracy is all about input from the masses. Now, when the masses decide to keep quiet or to keep mute about happenings rather that affects them directly, it's not a good one. You will recall that this same electronic transmission of results was first of all kicked out of the National Assembly.
Sure.
But due to pressure from the masses, the Senate had to reverse a decision and then come up with it. This is to say at least the masses have had their way. So I always encourage the masses to always make 1 or 2 inputs.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. It goes a long way. Some people will say that go to talk, we'll do what we feel like doing. But I think the talk also...
Same thing with voting, will my vote count at the end of the day? But just keep on.
The talking also counts in this case. It would have been a shame to us as a nation. We are in the 21st century. So the Senate shouldn't behave like... they shouldn't behave otherwise, rather. So they have to key in, because just like the Venerable here said, it's a step in the right direction, because we look forward to having the election in diaspora. Nigeria is huge, Nigeria is large.
Sure. And their votes will also count from over there.
Yes. But one more important thing is that I pray that the political class will allow the e-transmission to work. It's one thing for them to pass the bill. It's another thing for them to allow the process to work.
Sure.
It's another thing for them to allow INEC to do
their work.
Thank you.
No, I think what we should pray that this thing will not be stalled at Aso Rock again as it has been in the past. Once Mr. President signs this into law, I tell you, nothing will stop the implementation anymore. Because INEC, from all intent and purposes, are determined.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And our next story is Electoral Act Amendment Bill, APC PDP kick as NAS approves direct primaries.
Well,
kicking what?
Kicking against it.
Okay.
Kicking against it. Let me take from both the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, and the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, have expressed reservations about the decision by the National Assembly to mandate political parties to adopt direct primaries in selecting candidates for election in Electoral Act Amendment Bill it passed yesterday.
Okay. You see why I say kicking for what?
Yeah.
Yes, I know that that very clause that is in the Act kind of or somehow infringes on the liberty of political parties to take their own decision to administer their own organization the way they want to. But I think generally the clause is in the favor of the masses. Yes, because indirect primary, we know what has been happening through indirect primary. It has always been about who pays the highest money takes it. But with direct primary, the masses will be able to, members of the political party, a majority will be able to determine who emerges as their flag bearer.
And this question now, can't the political parties be given these free hands to do?
Well, I think, let me just come in. For us to understand these things very well, we need to understand the workings of these political parties. You made mention of APC, PDP kicking against
the direct
I don't think it's APC kicking against it or PDP kicking against it. It is the elites in those parties that are kicking against this idea of direct primaries.
That is individual.
Let me give you instances. The governors, the Progressive Governors Forum sat down immediately after Senate passed the bill, and then we had the Kebbi State Governor, Governor Bagudu, coming out to say that the indirect primaries will overstretch INEC in terms of conducting primaries. Now, he is not in a position to decide that. It is INEC that will come out and say, hey, there's
can handle this.
Yes, we'll overstretch, but not him. He's a governor. But the crux of the matter is that we've always had a situation where these governors, like I always argue, they live like emperors. They decide who become reps member, who becomes a flag bearer rather, to contest reps, to contest Senate, and then to contest House of Assembly. Now, if you're not the type that is answerable to your governor, you hardly come back to the National Assembly. You hardly. So the governors have always taken advantage of that indirect primaries, because they are the party leaders in those states. So they will just sit down
and just
decide.
Yes.
The more reason why they are kicking against it.
Let me give you one instance of my state. I like giving an example.
That is Kaduna.
Yes, Kaduna State. In 2019, Senator Shehu Sani was having issues with Nasru El-Rufai.
Okay.
Now, the next thing we had was that Senator Shehu Sani was expelled from the party a week or 2 weeks before the primaries through his ward chairman. While the national party chairman said that there is nothing like that. But of course, at the tail end, the struggle between the governor and the senator, now the governor had his way, reason because he's the party leader. And then he ended up announcing somebody as the candidate, who of course is now in the Senate. So that's always been the issue. Now, may I say this? The National Assembly also, i.e. the reps and the senators, are doing it because they are passing this bill of their primaries because they know that within their primaries, they are not safe. Now, like I said, a governor can decide who becomes a flag bearer in APC or PDP, pending who is in good time with. So if you're not loyal to the governor, you will definitely not go back. And most of them, if you look at it, most of them as at now are not too in good times with their governors. So the best way to go about it is, of course, to be on the side of the masses. Hey, we are doing this for you. We are doing this for you. So, of course, the masses will hail them. But at the same time, they are also doing it for their own good. Yeah. Because they know that at least now they can go to the village, to their villages, canvass support, even if the government doesn't like, they are likely to come back their way. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we are going to Anambra State. Anambra people have they've spoken. Yeah, they've spoken. It has been in the pipeline for much awaited. Finally, Soludo wins as APGA sweeps Anambra Buba election coming from INEC. I'll hand this over to you as an election observer.
Of course.
Yeah, well, first we have to congratulate him.
Yeah.
He has been formally and officially declared as the winner. We saw it coming from the last time we were in the studio. I think that was about 3 days ago to analyze what has happened so far. I remember I said the INEC have already collated result in 20 local government out of 21.
Just one
just
left.
Remaining one. And the margin of win was so much that it was difficult to overturn that table. And don't forget, there's a percentage of win that you need to have in the different local governments before you can even be declared. So as at last Sunday, I think APGA has already met all those requirements. There was one senior advocate of Nigeria that was on air yesterday and was really very critical about this, that going to Ihiala was a waste of time because the constitutional requirement has been satisfied already. And well, it all went well. Ihiala, the APC got 343 votes, PDP 2,485, and APGA got 8,283 votes. So with that,
the margin is
just clear that this one doesn't require dispute. So what we expect is all the other persons should congratulate him and let him hit the ground running.
And support him.
And well, I don't need to say that he should be magnanimous in victory because from his speech last night, he has already expressed his hand of fellowship to all those who contested. I think it was a good outing.
I'm saying, were the other parties like APC, PDP thinking there was any chance of them winning with that of Ihiala?
A politician will never tell you that he's not having chance of winning. It's only one of the leaders of the political party, I've forgotten which party now, last night, who said he voted for APGA because he didn't see any chance of winning anymore.
Okay, that is one of
the governorship aspirants.
Wow.
He voted for APGA in Ihiala because he already saw that. See, it's good to be realistic. And I think that aspirant was very, very realistic. The other aspirant, I don't know what they were expecting, how they were expecting to, except if we were ready to ring it and just take the whole vote and give it to one particular party to say they won. I mean, it was not going to be an easy exercise for any person. If no matter how the person knows how to ring, it was not going to be possible.
Thank you very much. First of all, may I congratulate Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, who has waited for 11 years to become
a
governor of Anambra State, because I think this is the 11th year he has been in the race, trying to. That's to tell you that patience, that's to tell you that patience is a virtue. And for we, the youth, I think we have to learn from that very instances. But for the supplementary, which the canon here said, he doesn't know how possible it is with one local government. You see, in Nigeria, everything is possible. Everything is possible in Nigeria.
Sure.
We've had a situation where
the tables can be turned overnight.
We've had a situation where somebody who became fourth in an election in a state
was declared
winner of that very elections. So that as it may, I think I'm not trying to preempt people, but there are instances where these politicians look at the number of registered voters and then sit down to declare results based on the number of persons in the register. Now, of course, the other party might have 100 plus. Now, if EHLL government has registered voters up to 150, the election can be rigged. So, except if you ask me, now the situation is that the people were very vigilant. They were very vigilant. So, to them, that one local government that you're thinking that cannot change, it can. It's just because the masses there stood their grounds. And then because when you have a local government election, in one local government, there is possibility that the media will be there.
Sure.
Everybody will be there. All eyes will be there. But I bet you there are instances in this country that votes are manipulated based on the number of persons in a particular register or in a particular polling unit.
You know, I was on ground and I saw the situation real time. And I knew it was not going to be possible because, number one, ABGA is the government in power in Anambra. ABGA have the number. The election that have been done so far, ABGA swept the whole, almost the whole local government. And so, and coming to the Ihiala, as a local government, it was already a charged environment where people were ready to lynch themselves if you do anything funny. So any government official, INEC official, party official that thought he would go to Ihiala and be funny and go score-free was just daydreaming. It would have been a disaster. And on the part of security, you know the number of security men that were deployed to Anambra. Police alone, 34,000 plus, before civil defense and all that. Almost
the number of voters.
Like so, the whole country were just short of this personnel.
The police that, the security agencies that police the whole of Anambra were now to focus on one local government. So it would be very, very was going to be extremely difficult. So I knew all this. That's why my mind was not. I was not having any doubt at all that.
We will stay with Soludo. On his speech, he gave a speech. That one was very brief and precise speech. And another one, Soludo's wins. He dedicates victory to fallen policemen during town hall meeting. And we have this ABGA Soludo victory reward for good governance coming from Victor Imeda. Is the chairman or so? Former chairman. But he is the agent. He was the agent for the elections now.
I'm more concerned about lynching 3 policemen. I do not know. When are we going to get it right? Just for a town hall meeting and then you lynch policemen. They also have their own families. They are there to protect lives and properties. In the first instances, they are there because of you.
Sure.
So why lynch them in the first instances? To me, it's a sad one, actually. It shouldn't be like that.
No life should be
no justification whatsoever for taking the life of a policeman in the first instances. And the funny thing is that it happened in the hometown of the present governor who won this very election. I don't know, I might not know the motive behind such actions, but like I said, it is not justifiable in any way whatsoever. They are Nigerians, they have their own families, they are there to protect lives and properties. And most so, let me say this particularly to the southeast. In the north, for example, we are faced with insecurity that perhaps it's something that we can see it is not self-inflicting. But when you look at the case of the Southeast, to me, to some extent, you can do agitation whatsoever. I am happy that this election took place. But because, of course, the federal government want to take advantage of the volatile
nature of
the states. And even the last time I was here, I argued that if election could take place in Borno and Yobe in 2015 and 2019, I see no reason why election will not hold in Anambra State. Now, what am I saying? The people of Anambra State or Southeast should look at it from this way. They can still develop their states. They can still live in peace with each other.
Sure.
At the same time, demand for self-determination. There's nothing wrong with that. I mustn't kill my brother before the government will know that I'm serious about self-determination. I mustn't burn down my neighbor's house before somebody will know that I'm ready for self-determination. No. The Southwest also, to some extent, to me, they are the most ready set of humans now in Nigeria in terms of self-determination, but they're not killing themselves. They are waiting in the event that anything happens. The indices, yes, the indices shows that the indices is showing that they can be reliable, they can be sustainable rather. Their own state can be sustainable. So that is my own piece of advice on that aspect. So this bloodshed, to me, is uncalled for and shouldn't be encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So viewers will be right back after the short break. When we return, we will be discussing on the effect of telecoms shutdown in some parts of the country, especially in Kaduna State. Please stay tuned.
This is a call and an invitation to all sons and daughters of the kingdom to the Church of Nigeria's annual convocation of believers, the Divine Commonwealth Conference, TIFCON 2021. The conference theme, Quit You Like Men, from 1 Corinthians 16 verse 13, reminds all that God searches for men and women who will stand firm in the faith and be strong for Him in all situations. Come and be blessed by the daily Bible study. This is a call and an invitation to all sons and daughters of the kingdom to the Church of Nigeria's annual convocation of believers, the Divine Commonwealth Conference, TIFCON 2021. The conference theme, Quit You Like Men, from 1 Corinthians 16 verse 13, reminds all that God searches for men and women who will stand firm in the faith and be strong for Him in all situations. Come and be blessed by the daily Bible study, power-packed messages, prayers, music ministrations, testimonies and more by anointed servants of God, and fellowship with delegates.
Thanks for staying tuned. Let's get right into the discussion segment. We still have in the studio the Venerable Noaya and Comrade Isaac. Gentlemen, once again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, it's no longer news in some part of the country, like in Niger State, Shiroro to be precise, Zamfara State, Sokoto State, I think, and now Kaduna State has been under shutdown, telecom shutdown for reasons of insecurity. My question is this: why the shutdown? Let me start with you then.
Yeah, I think this is a very sensitive question. And it's a security-related question, and experts will best know why this had to be done. But from the layman point of view, I think it's absolutely necessary if it's a strategy by our security personnel
and the government.
And the government to achieve the goal they want to achieve. If this thing were to be shut down under normal circumstance, when there's no security problem, that is where I will have issue with the shutdown. But considering what is happening in these very places referred to, I think if this is a strategy that will help the security personnel to be able to accomplish the goal of achieving peace for the people, so let it be. The truth is that the bandits, the kidnappers, Boko Haram, all these people are using this communication network. That is why it has always been a concern for me that why is it that in this modern age these people cannot be tracked down? These people are communicating through the regular networks, reaching out to relatives of victims to negotiate and to collect ransom, and you cannot track them.
Okay, so now is it by shutting down the telecom system that you'll be able to track them or prevent?
Now, don't be surprised. The telecom system can be shut down for the general public, shut down against the bandit, and they don't have their own network except people like ISWAP and maybe Boko Haram. I know those people, especially ISWAP, is becoming very, very sophisticated, and they may be having communication gadgets that are independent of the general networks that we know. But for the bandits and all that are hitting at random and moving up and down in the bush, I think this will disarm them. Because if you kidnap a person and you don't have the means of reaching out to the people, how do you collect the ransom?
Okay, let me come to...
You'll be frustrated. You'll be frustrated.
Kaduna State is your home.
I think
I'm coming. Governor Nasir El-Rufai, I think was it last week, he had to like extend the shutdown. It started since September. And my own is, okay, when someone is kidnapped, like Venerable said, how do we report such things to the authorities when you don't have any?
I think let me just I quite differ. My thoughts quite differ from that of the Venerable. Okay. First of all, when there was a shutdown in Zamfara, we saw military action. It was obvious. But in the case of Kaduna State, for example, the question we should ask is that ever since there was shutdown in part of Kaduna State, did the security situation worsen or lessen?
Okay.
I think that's the first fundamental question we need to ask ourselves. First of all, during the shutdown, and if you want to do shutdown, why don't you shut the entire state? Okay. Why would you choose a particular area? Kaduna State is divided between north and south.
Like Zaria, they still
within the. No, I'm talking of Kaduna State,
within
the
Kaduna
metropolis.
State.
Yeah, within the bridge, across the bridge.
Yeah.
To the north, you have 90% Muslim, and then to the south, you have 90% or 98% Christians. Now you have a shutdown where you have, in a particular area where you have 98% Christians, that's where you have shutdown. And then you have a particular market within the south where you have businesses going on. Okay. And then that place have a network. I mean, that is, I don't want to go into that direction, but this is the narrative. Yeah. Now, secondly, you have a shutdown, you have a network shutdown, and then bandits are having a field day. On 31st of October, the same year, we were on that same shutdown. Bandits invaded a Baptist church in Kakao. Went away with 66 worshippers. They even killed two barely some days back. What are we saying? And those same bandits are now communicating with the families. Whichever way they always have their way. So what we're saying is that if you're going to have shutdown, why don't you have shutdown in the entire state?
Totally.
Don't forget that security votes are being passed. There are security votes. Okay. How do we now refer ourselves back to? We are in 21st century. This is 21st century. The GSM should have been used, just like the Venerable said, the GSM should have been used to even track all these people. I have given an instances. My friend's phone got missing. We went to Barna Division. We met the police. We said, okay, our phone got missing, no problem. Roger House. Within a short time, they tracked the phone and they said, this is where the phone is, enter Helios, and then we got our phones.
And you're able to.
So this is a division. These bandits are within Kaduna Metropolis.
Yeah.
They are not far from the city center. If you want to crush them, it's a very easy thing. The GSM will have been used. Why can't we use GPRS to track them? Are you saying
there
that
are ways you can track these people and you're just not doing anything?
Are you now saying that we are now back to 16th century, 17th century, when we have all it takes to track them so easily? You mustn't deny people access to means of communication before you crush bandits. This has economic implications.
Sure.
Businesses have crippled down.
I'm coming to that.
Now, if I permitted to come in here. You know, he's from Kaduna, where the network have been shut down, and I can understand his sentiment. He is also a Christian from South Kaduna, so I can understand his sentiment. But sentiment put aside, that's why I said he's not an expert, I'm not an expert on security matter. We may not know what they intend to achieve, but it is clear that this is a security strategy to attack the problem. The people on the field out there knows best what they are doing and what they want to achieve. Like in Zamfara, there was some improvement. Even the shutting down of parks, not only now shutting down networks, shutting down car parks, shutting down some markets and all that. I saw citizens who were making comment that it's producing result. Even the governor said it's producing result, and if there's need to extend it, so let it be, if that is what will bring peace to the people. The point is, they should be fast about whatsoever they are doing, because today every person is now addicted to phone. We should not also forget that before Obasanjo's time, there was no means of communication. We were living, economy was still going on in the country. So if this is an emergency situation that is a necessity, and the security men thinks it wise, let them do it, provided that at the end they should be able to show positive result for.
Kaduna extending it now. So far, if you can't do it within that period it was on, what else do you want to do? Like I
said, I'm trying to limit myself within Kaduna State. And I said, you made mention of Zamfara, and I said, we saw what happened in Zamfara. There was military
Zamfara, there's still like, gunmen kidnapped, bandits ambushed security agents, killed several Mopol officers in Zamfara State,
there was
even with the shutdown.
Yeah, that is an ambush. An ambush can happen whether there's network or there's no network. Don't forget, these are people that are running also for their life, and they are also trying to hit some.
But they must have been briefed. These people are somewhere.
Like I said, first of all, we should ask this question. What was happening before the shutdown of the network? And what is happening presently? These are the issues that we need to ask ourselves. Let me assure you that from the day there was a shutdown on the northern part of the city center, these bandits invade communities on a daily basis. And in fact, this invasion are no longer reported. Kaduna will have a social media population very well. I think no state in the north can boast of having a social media population like Kaduna State, and particularly southern Kaduna. Now you have a situation where the social media has been totally grounded. And I think let's look at this thing beyond mere seeing. We should be critical about this. It's a stage. It's a stage. It's a stage. Now, let me quote the words of Obadiah Melaife. He said, at a point in time, villages will be attacked. May his better soul rest in peace. Villages will be attacked, and then after villages being attacked, then you have selected killings within the city centers. Now, what are we having? Yesterday,
I think a retired
general,
officer,
was killed in Kaduna. So we're having those instances now. And are you now saying that? Well, let me see. Are we seeing that if the shutdown continues like this, it will get to a point that they can come and wipe an entire community, and then there won't be a single report. There won't be a single report. Let's look at these things very well. As far as I'm concerned, the shutdown have worsened the security situation in Kaduna State. We are in the 21st century. As far as I'm using this phone, I can easily be tracked, and I can easily be caught. If I'm not using any phone, how do you get me? Let's be realistic. You have to be running helter-skelter trying to get me. But with this singular phone like this, bandits make calls. They negotiate. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can make call, if you can negotiate, you can be tracked. So if the will is there, Kaduna's situation is not that of Boko Haram, menace, or what have you. It is, within the city center, is pure banditry. Bandits came in, invade a particular community, kidnap 166, move with them. When you have 66 persons being moved away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 66. Now, most of them will be having phone numbers, phones with them.
Sure.
Okay.
If you cannot track the phone of one person, you can track the phone of the other person. If you cannot track the up to 66, and then the bandits are also making contact. I mean, no, this is uncalled for. It's a clear script, and we need to tell the whole world exactly as it is. It's not the issue of saying security.
Yeah, he's really looking at a different perspective where...
I am saying because I'm a victim. I'm a victim. That's my environment. That is where I stay. And I know for sure...
That is where the sincerity of the prosecution of this war against insecurity has always been queried. Yes, when there is sincerity, we don't need to begin to ask questions.
Questions, of course.
But where you can see the dimension our brother is trying to x-ray now. So when there is that dimension, when there is that lack of trust, then you begin to ask, why is this happening?
Okay. Now, moving away from that question, Venerable, what are the economic implications of shutting down telecommunication systems in such places?
Well,
we are talking of economic meltdown. Businesses are being shut down because of this singular reason. So,
well, there are a lot of implications because businesses are most dependent on this telecom something now because you need communication to be able to push any business you are doing. Right now, it's like going back to the Stone Age where you need to carry your wares to the market, maybe go and display before you can come. But now with telecom, you can sit there in your house and communicate, make your business arrangement and everything without necessarily moving up and down. So with the shutdown, you don't need to, it will not be overemphasized to say that it's going to affect the economy, especially with the state of things at the moment.
In the country.
Well, let's not forget that we had a lockdown during COVID-19. And Kaduna State has the longest lockdown, as if
even while others,
as if we are carved out of China.
Or Wuhan in particular.
We had the longest lockdown. Having came out from that lockdown, the state government lay off almost 66,000 civil servants, including teachers. Having passed that stage, school fees was increased. State-owned tertiary institutions, school fees were increased by 500%. So our universities now are more or less like private universities. Now, having passed that stage, now bandits now had a field day where, based on my own calculations, our parents, our relatives have paid more than $1 billion naira now to bandits so far within this period. Now, in a state where you have this sequence of events taking place, what do you think? Now, having passed through this stage, we are still crawling. We couldn't go to farms because the bandits are there, so we have to farm within the roadside. And we are 80% agrarian, which is to say what we do basically is farming. Good. I have my own farm. I couldn't access my own farm because of insecurity. Now, with all this happenings, and then you now say, okay, we want to fight these bandits that have been terrorizing you for years, and the best way to do it is to cut down network, to shut down network completely in some part of the state. Now, imagine the quantum of the effect. People solely depends on little meager
whatever
businesses.
they earn on a daily basis.
And that is being done You cannot see simply because initially our parents were not used to telecommunications. And then we that are used to it, when we've already built our businesses on telecom, and then you say we have to now, that means you see we have to go back and start learning something afresh. It's definitely not going to work. And like I said, to me, if you shut down network and then for 24 hours, there is no case of banditry, then to some extent I'll be very happy. But ever since the TD shut
So you
down,
just mentioned this. Is there, okay, so far you've been talking, has there been any difference, like any improvement? And
I'm saying what we should ask ourselves is that what is happening before the shutdown of the network?
has there been any change?
And what is happening now? The situation has worsened. It has worsened, as far as I'm concerned. I just told you that on 31st of October, 66 worshippers in a Baptist church, Kakao is not far from the city. In fact, Kakao is more or less like Metropolis. And then you kidnap 66 persons. There was a kidnap in Marabarido. The one in the church, it was much more, because why that one was even recorded was because they know the number of persons within that church.
Yeah.
But in Marabarido, which is of course close to even NNPC, now they usually come in even like this, invade the community and then they move with them. So before you even get the statistics, it's difficult. So what we are saying is this: if they were shut down in the network, like I said, when there was a shutdown in Zamfara, we saw military actions. Why can't we have same or similar military actions here in Kaduna State? That is the issue. And if you're talking of banditry, we still have bandits within the northern aspects of the metropolis, yes. Why didn't they shut down the network there? If you're going to shut down network, shut it everywhere in the state. Let's know that, yes. Let's, even in Sakashi Ibrahim House, that's the government house, shut the network there. Let's know that, yes, there is a total shutdown of network. It's as simple as that. But you shut down network in particular area, and it's that same area that these bandits have been invading.
Okay, now you are in the heat of it.
Yeah.
You are part of it. How are the citizens of Kaduna handling the, the new normal?
And let me make this very, very clear. It's not just network. You ban Okada.
Yeah.
You ban tricycle. I get it.
The tricycle again.
Yes.
Okay.
So people now trek within. You see people trekking from one
that
point
wouldn't be easy
to the other. Now you allow me to drive my car simply because I can afford car.
What of those that can't afford it?
Good and fine. Excuse me. Now, are we now saying that somebody who owns a car cannot be a criminal? You see, there are some policies are not meant for 21st century. When you bring a policy of 16th century, 21st century, you begin to question the nitty-gritty of that very policy. Especially if that policy is targeted at some particular people, or especially if that policy to some extent is not been able to, or has not been able to answer the question of the. Like we said, people are being killed on a daily basis. People are being kidnapped on a daily basis. So what is the essence of shutting down the network? Perhaps if you allow the network, when they are invading this house, you'll be able to call the next person and tell him that, see, they are invading my house, so find your way. If you cannot come and give me help, then you should find your way. It's as simple as that. But what we're having now is people now coming to ransack an entire community. And then, let me give you instances. On my way to the studio today, I received a call. And I said, okay, I'm on my way coming, I'm close. Now, if there was no means of communication, the person calling me wouldn't have known where am I. Where you are. Whether I've had accident, whether I met robbers, whether, you see, let's look at this thing very well. Let's look at this thing critically. And let's look at how it affects the people. And let me say this very, very clearly. Whatever policy you're going to bring, whatever policy you're going to initiate, governance is all about the people.
Sure.
Governance is all about the people. We're talking of human development. Now, whatever you're going to do, as far as it does not affect your own people positively, then there is no point doing it.
Venerable, I'm coming to you now. I know you are not a security expert here. As a layman, what are ways of preferring this kind of insecurity like averting them rather than subjecting the citizens of such states in such
You know, first of all, you don't allow insecurity to fester before you start dealing with it. Because that is where we have problems.
And there are signs you should have seen before.
Yes, there are early warning signs, and they were really there. But it's like the body language of government, they did not support the war against insecurity for a very long time. What has been happening for the past few years now, let me put a few years now, is what Ecclesiastics will describe as a chase after the wind. That a lot of damages have been done. Then we are now trying to see how we can salvage or gather speed make, which is not really possible. But that being as it may, we are in the quagmire already. It still needs serious political will on the part of government to deal decisively with this. If I were to be in government, I think, like somebody said to me somewhere within the week, was it in Anambra, where he said, well, the problem of insecurity as it is in Nigeria will not last long when there's a change in government and there's a political will to deal with it.
That's true.
Simple. It's just a question of giving a directive, and the directive is clear, and something will be done. Now, go after these people. If, okay, how long will it take to declare the bandits as terrorists? Have they been declared as terrorists? We are still on it. How long did it take us? Have we even formally declared Boko Haram as terrorist group? How long will it take to do all that? That is where we are talking about the political will.
Busy petty, like...
Yes, so when we are decisive, in a matter like you need to be decisive. You need to be decisive.
And
look at the Malian president that was killed. Is this Idris Deby? He was killed at the war front because he was directly involved. Yes, he was directly involved. So, if you are ready to take the war to the enemy's camp, I tell you, I don't see how many number of persons constitute what we call bandits in Nigeria that we cannot defeat. So, is bandits richer than the country? Which equipment can bandits acquire?
The way it is, they've overpowered.
I think you're making reference to the Chad president.
Sorry, Chad. That is Chadian president. So, how much does the bandit have? The collection they are collecting from people for ransom is so much that it's now more than they are now more wealthy than Nigeria as a government. Now, for me, you need to be alive to talk about railway. You need to be alive to talk about road. You need to be alive to talk about any other thing. You know, drastic situations require drastic measures. So that is how it should be tackled. For as long as it's not tackled that way, things will begin to go the way.
Thank you. Your last word in 30 seconds.
I think governments need to be sincere in dealing with insecurity. The fourth most deadliest terrorist group, based on World Index,
is Boko Haram.
Yeah, in this based on World Index hierarchy, is Boko Haram and Fulani militia, but they've not been tagged terrorists in Nigeria till this day. When you go out to protest, like IPOP in the initial, they were attacked terrorists. And the president had to come out and say that he will address them based on the language they best understand. Now, we expect to see actions
in the
same way. These bandits are there terrorizing us and they walk freely. And in fact, we are now suffering from their actions because they kill, they maim, they extort, they rape our people. At the same time, they are not denying us access to network to even get our peanuts, the meager resources that we usually get from our day-to-day activities.
Thank you very much. This is we can take on this show. Thank you, Venerable, for gracing our invite. Comrade,
thank you.
We are grateful.
The pleasure is mine.
When next we call you, beckon on us. Viewers, this is where we call it a day for today's program. Till we come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Be a law-abiding citizen. Be vigilant. If you see something say something, and always report criminal acts to the appropriate authority, and do good at all times. Do well also to register for your voter's card if you haven't, and if you have registered, do well to get yours. Be a card carrier of a political party and be ready to be actively involved in politics. Governance is for everybody and not some selected few. Remember, God is the ultimate protector and deliverer. Therefore, put your trust in Him. Thank you so much, and we hope to do more for you and with you. I am Rachel Ibunu. Bye for now.